Imagine a world where you plug in your electric car for just 5 minutes, and when you unplug, it's ready to drive 1,000 kilometers non-stop. It sounds like a scene straight out of a futuristic sci-fi movie, right? But here is the shocking part. This is not just a dream anymore. This could become a reality much sooner than anyone expected. And leading this revolution is none other than Toyota, the world's most trusted automaker. Recently, Toyota has dropped a bombshell that has shaken not just Japan's auto industry, but the entire global automobile market, the breakthrough of solid-state batteries. Now, you may have heard this term thrown around before in research papers, tech talks, or futuristic predictions. But until now, it always felt like something decades away. Well, that is about to change. Toyota claims that its solid-state battery technology could be ready for mass production in the near future. What does this mean for you and me? Until now, the biggest concern people had about buying an electric car was simple. Too much charging time and not enough driving range. Nobody likes waiting 30 to 60 minutes just to charge their car, especially when you can fill a gas tank in 5 minutes. And no one wants to stop every 200 or 300 kilometers on a long road trip to charge again. But with a 1,000 kilometer range and charging times as low as 5 minutes, this entire conversation changes overnight. If Toyota really makes this work, then my friends, the age of gasoline and diesel cars could be over. And yes, this would shake even the giants of the EV industry, Tesla, BYD, Volkswagen, Mercedes, and every other automaker in the race. In this video, we are going to break down how Toyota's solid-state battery actually works, when it could realistically launch, the science behind it, and why it is being called the biggest automobile revolution of the next decade. We will also look at the challenges and threats Toyota faces in bringing this tech to life, and finally what it means for you, me, and the entire global auto industry. And before we dive deeper, make sure you subscribe so you do not miss updates like this that could literally decide the future of your next car. Toyota's position in the market and why this matters. Let us step back for a moment and talk about Toyota itself. Why is this such a big deal? For decades, Toyota has been known as one of the largest and most reliable car companies in the world. From the early 90s all the way until today, Toyota has built a reputation for producing vehicles that run forever. If there is any automaker that symbolizes quality, trust, and longevity, it is Toyota. Think of iconic models like the Toyota Corolla, Camry, or SUV legends like the RAV4, Highlander, and Fortuner. Millions of drivers swear by them. In fact, some Toyota models are so reliable that they have almost become boring because they just refuse to break down. But here is the twist. While Toyota perfected gasoline and diesel engines and even became a pioneer in hybrid vehicles with the Prius, it has lagged behind when it comes to fully electric vehicles. Toyota versus Tesla and BYD. If we talk about today's EV market, two names dominate, Tesla in America and BYD in China. These companies have been selling millions of electric cars annually. Meanwhile, Toyota has mostly relied on hybrids. By 2023, Toyota had sold about 1.9 million hybrid and electric vehicles, but the vast majority were hybrids. Pure EV sales were still very small compared to Tesla or BYD. Why? Because Toyota believed the world was not ready to switch completely to electric all at once. Their strategy was to use hybrids as a bridge technology to slowly move customers toward electric vehicles. And honestly, they were not wrong. Millions of Prius buyers proved that people wanted fuel efficiency before they were ready for full EVs. But now the game is changing. Global warming, stricter emission rules, rising oil prices, and pressure for green energy are forcing Toyota to go all in on electric. That is where their solid-state battery research comes in. Toyota is not just trying to catch up. It is trying to leapfrog everyone else with a breakthrough that could wipe out EV range anxiety forever. What exactly is a solid-state battery? Let's take a deeper dive. So let's break this down in simple terms, but we'll take our time to really understand the why behind this exciting technology. Right now, the world of batteries, especially for electric vehicles, is dominated by a specific type, the lithium-ion battery. You're actually pretty familiar with this technology, even if you don't realize it. It's the same fundamental power source found in your smartphone, your laptop, modern cordless tools, and even those electric scooters you see zipping around town. To really appreciate the solid-state breakthrough, we first need to understand how current lithium-ion batteries function. Imagine a very busy train station. At one end of the battery you have the positive electrode, or the cathode, and at the other end, you have the negative electrode, or the anode. These are kind of like the main train terminals. The actual work of storing and releasing energy is done by countless tiny lithium ions. Think of them as commuters. The electrolyte, which is basically the liquid tracks, is a crucial part. The electrolyte is a special chemical liquid that fills the space between the two electrodes. Its sole job is to be a pathway, allowing the lithium-ion commuters to shuttle back and forth. When you charge the battery, the ions move from the positive terminal to the negative one, storing energy. When you use the battery, they travel back to the positive terminal, releasing that energy to power your device. Here is the fundamental issue with today's lithium-ion batteries. The electrolyte is a flammable, volatile liquid. This liquid solution is really the source of most of the drawbacks we associate with modern batteries. The overheating and fire hazard liquid electrolytes are inherently unstable, especially when stressed. If the battery is damaged, overcharged, or simply gets too hot from heavy use, this liquid can start to break down, produce gas, and heat up extremely rapidly in a process called thermal runaway. This is basically a chemical chain reaction that is very difficult to stop once it starts. You've likely seen news reports of EV battery fires that are notoriously hard to extinguish. This is, well, why they happen. The short circuit risk. Inside the battery, a very thin, porous plastic film called a separator keeps the positive and negative electrodes from touching. If this separator is punctured by a microscopic metallic growth called a dendrite, which can form over many charge cycles, or if it is damaged in an impact, the electrodes touch through the liquid. This causes an immediate and massive short circuit, generating intense heat and often leading to a fire. Degradation and limited lifespan. The liquid electrolyte isn't perfectly stable. Over time and through countless charge and discharge cycles, it chemically decomposes at the electrodes, forming a restrictive layer. This process slowly reduces the battery's ability to hold a charge, which is why your phone's battery doesn't last as long after a couple of years. Furthermore, the liquid can evaporate or degrade, further shortening the battery's overall life. The solid-state solution. Building a solid foundation. This is where the solid-state battery enters the picture, and the name really says it all. Instead of using a flammable liquid as the electrolyte pathway, a solid-state battery uses a solid material. This solid electrolyte can be made from various advanced materials, such as special ceramics, glass, or solid polymers. This single change from liquid to solid addresses the core weaknesses of traditional batteries head-on. Dramatically improved safety. A solid electrolyte is non-flammable. It simply cannot catch fire. It's also much more stable at high temperatures, drastically reducing the risk of thermal runaway. Even if the battery is punctured, the solid material prevents the catastrophic short-circuiting that a liquid enables, paving the way for better components. Because the solid electrolyte is stable, it allows engineers to use a lithium metal anode instead of the traditional graphite one. A lithium metal anode can store much more energy in the same amount of space. This is the key to achieving a much higher energy density, meaning you can have a battery that is the same size and weight as a current one, but holds significantly more power, extending an EV's range dramatically. Potential for faster charging lithium ions can, in theory, move faster through a solid medium than a liquid one. This could translate to incredibly fast charging times, potentially refilling an EV's battery to 80% in just minutes, rather than hours. Longer lifespan. The solid structure is far less prone to the degrading side reactions that plague liquid electrolytes. This means a solid-state battery could withstand many more charge cycles before its capacity noticeably fades, resulting in a product that lasts for years longer than today's batteries. In essence, the shift from a liquid to a solid electrolyte isn't just a minor upgrade. It's a fundamental re-engineering of the battery's core that promises to solve its most significant safety, performance, and longevity issues all at once. The challenge, which the industry is racing to solve, is manufacturing these sophisticated solid materials reliably and affordably at a massive scale.